the field.
I really hope anyone that listens to that 30-second intro heard that forward down the field.
You ain't better, man.
That was
I was gonna
awesome.
start singing the whole song through the whole 30-second, but I couldn't get the lyrics up fast enough. I didn't know the lyrics. I was like, shit, I'm losing it. Let me just say forward down the field.
Welcome in, everybody. This is the Honolulu Blues podcast. We're back after a little Christmas break. Unfortunately, we are not on a Victory Monday, Tuesday, or even Wednesday. It's one of those typical Lions weeks that we're not really used to. Like last year, this was just same old. But this week is just like an actual bummer, like that loss. I hate to say it was like a nice loss, but it was like, you know what? Like,
this is a kick in the nuts.
I have to feel like this every single Sunday because this was me last year, just about every Sunday. And now this is the first time I'm really feeling it since like week 7, 8-ish. So I'll take it. All in all, it was a butt whooping, like our coach said. It was an ass kicking. And, the Lions, hopefully this was our like smack to the face. Playoffs isn't going to be handed to you. You have to go take it from someone. And we all know who we're going to have to take it from. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Julius, my man, what is going on? Do you have a Merry Christmas?
I had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope you guys did too. But this loss, real quick, it was made better, I feel like, by Christmas. Because my wife looked me dead in the face as the Lions were getting blown out by Carolina and said, there's no way that you're going to let these guys, take away the Christmas spirit, you know what I'm saying? And I knew that. And plus, circumstantially, I knew the Lions were due for a bad game eventually. A lot of people called it a trap game. I didn't think it was going to happen, but it was cold enough, and evidently the field was cementy enough, and the Lions were deflated enough, travel weary that it came to fruition. So I had a very Merry Christmas, and I don't think the Lions did as much, and I hope it comes back to bite the Bears.
Hopefully, yeah, man. That would be awesome if the Lions just, went back to Ford Field, came back to and just put a big old butt whooping, made Justin Fields in hell. Hutchinson gets 3 sacks, finishes, up with 10 sacks before he heads into Lambeau. But all in all,
by the way, last year, by the way, at this time we were talking about the draft.
That's very true. Yeah, and normally we are, and this is very nice. And I mentioned this, I posted a tweet out a couple days ago. This was after, the Lions lost. Then we had to watch Aaron Rodgers and his smug smirk go out and just like get a gift-wrapped win from Tua. I could go into that, but that sucked. And then we had the cherry on top, which was watching, the Rams and Baker Mayfield actually be like semi-competent. And it's not really going to affect us next year, but there's still 2 more games left. And these Rams, they look like they want to win. And it's making me mad because I was looking at like a guaranteed top 5 pick. And all of a sudden they get Baker Mayfield and yada, yada, yada. But all in all, this Lions season, no matter really what happens, we could lose these next 2 games. And the Rams could win these next 2 games. And honestly, it's probably better than 99% of Lions fans could have hoped after week 5, 6, when it was really looking bad. So all in all, Dan Campbell, you've turned the ship around. You started to give us Lions fans some hope. So Nick, did you have a Merry Christmas?
I did. Thank you for asking. It was great. I got to spend it with the holidays. First year in like 28 years, I didn't do a ton of traveling, which is great because there was a big storm that hit through Michigan. So I was very happy with Christmas, even with Detroit losing.
Well, Nick, also you, kind of like me, we both were, ironically, we didn't really have to watch at least the second half for me, but maybe the full game for you, because I know you were at a play with your family. So did you watch any of this game?
I did. I went back and I rewatched everything. Okay. I got NFL Plus. I watched the condensed version.
I did the live game because
for the live game. I left when we were down 14-7. And I went and saw Cirque du Soleil Has anyone seen any Cirque du Soleil before in their life?
Yes.
Then Adam, you know what I'm talking about. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was loving it. It was an amazing show. I recommend it to absolutely anyone. It was called "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." So it was like all Christmas themes.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
People were flying in the air, roller skating around, doing everything like involved some of they were right next to like my daughter who was loving it. Just an amazing. It was a great way not to watch the Lions game. It was when I got there and sat down, looked at my phone, it was 31-7, and I was like, okay, well, I don't even have to worry about the Lions game. I was in a stinky Ebron jersey. I was like, well, this can be washed now. Like, this doesn't matter anymore. Like, so, but it turned out to be great. And then we came home. I still got to watch football. We had prime rib for Christmas Eve, and then ham for Christmas dinner. Just a great day. Just
nice. Sounds good. Yeah, ironically, I was kind of in your boat too. My brother, not the biggest football guy, so we booked a family movie to see Puss in Boots. A great movie. I suggest anyone who's kids, especially you guys, go see it. And he booked it for 3:00 because, like a lot of not big Lions fans or even casual fans, just didn't even realize that there was football on Saturday. So I didn't have, not just my brother, it was my dad. A couple buddies were like, hey, the Lions are playing at 1:00 today. And so, long story short, got a movie booked at 3:00. Well, I thought, no big. Let's just root for a Lions blowout. So we have to watch this game.
It was a Lions blowout.
It was a Lions blowout, just not the way I wanted.
It's not the way I wanted.
Oh, man, this game was brutal. It was kind of a slap to the face. It will hopefully a wake-up call for these Lions. We weren't really, depleted too, which kind of stinks, where, maybe you can make a case where, we were missing a few linemen, but no, everyone was healthy. We were really only missing like Deshaun Elliott, who still is a bit banged up. Kirby Joseph, he played most of the game, and he is now having a back injury, so that could come to play this Sunday. But all in all, the boys are looking pretty healthy heading into this Bears game. So, you guys got any, final comments on this, Panthers beatdown?
Final comments? We didn't even get a single comment.
I don't want to get into it, man.
We got to get into it. This game was a kick in the nuts. This game was fucking terrible, and it was atrocious to watch as a Lions fan. The depleted and deflated any kind of momentum and energy that we had. NFL is all about momentum. It really, really is. I don't think from year to year, but I do think from game to game. And this was a huge moment. We went into that game. We did not want to tackle anyone. I counted at least 800 missed tackles. There was one play, Laviska Shenault, however you say his name, missed. It had 7 guys miss him. And he had about an inch, maybe 2 inches from him to the sideline. And he dodged 7 tacklers or just bounced off of them. We did not come to play. We have the league leading most missed tackles, 89 missed tackles this season. That leads the NFL. We had 10 missed tackles per Pro Football Network or Pro Football Reference against Carolina. The most any other team had in any game was Denver with 6, and we had 10. Now I get like there was a lot of complaints that this field was like cement, and you could see it. Have you ever wore cleats and walked on like the track field around your high school football field? You just slip. And I get that. That's what it seemed like. But the thing is, both teams played on that field. And Deonta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard looked like Marshall Faulk and LaDainian Tomlinson against us. Looked like Adrian Peterson fucking prime. We couldn't tackle. Aiden Hutchinson looked out of place every single play. Aleem McNeil missed on every single tackle except for maybe 4. Josh Paschal looked like he should not be in the NFL right now. Our cornerbacks couldn't cover. We were down 31-7 at halftime. That is atrocious. You are in a playoff run. I don't care if this is a trap game. I don't care if you're on the road. We are the worst road team in the NFL. I don't care what our win record says. Jared Goff had threw 3 touchdowns coming in. He threw 3, all to Shane Zylstra, which
I know how
extremely crazy. That's a hat trick. I've never even seen that. I don't know if we'll get into that, but I'm just saying that this defensive performance was worse than any Matt Patricia defensive performance. And I hand to God, I say that. 31 points in the first half to Deonta Foreman.
Yeah.
No, that doesn't happen when you're in a playoff run. Act like you're in the playoff run and that you should be in the playoffs, and that if you do get San Francisco or Minnesota in the first round, you have a legitimate chance of competing. Because if we get Carolina in the first round, there's no way we can win. We can't beat them. We couldn't beat them 9 out of 10 times the way we played, or we couldn't beat them 1 out of 10 times the way we played on Sunday. That's what I got to say about this game is our defense couldn't tackle. Jeff Okudah had 3 missed tackles, and I'm pretty sure it was more than that, but that's just what the stats say.
Yeah, it was brutal. It did seem like, players were just like ducking their heads and just going in blindly on tackles, and every guy was just like with the ball, just like easy little like, you barely got a shoelace. What the heck? And then scampers on for another 48 yards. So
Sam Darnold was running over us.
Oh,
Sam
terrible.
Darnold was running option plays like he was goddamn Lamar Jackson. What the fuck? It's not supposed to happen.
It was real quick, Julius, before you get into it. The Lions, they allowed the Panthers to set a rushing record, most rush yards in Panthers history in a game. So that was painful, something they didn't do.
A team that had D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart as one of the best running back tandems the NFL had ever seen. And we still let Deonta Foreman and Chuba Hubbard.
Well, they had, not to mention, they had CMC and Cam Newton for a year or two.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
And then CMC for his, a few years of prime. So it's just, this was brutal. If someone were to tell me this was going to be a loss, I would say, okay, it's not going to be this bad, because this was just like terrible. It started out, a big old like 40-yard run, and it was like, oh, Lions can't let that happen. Then we answered with a touchdown. And then they answered back with another,
No. Then they punted. We were about to take the lead, 14-7. And old glove-wearing, slippery hands, buttery fingers, Jared Goff in the red zone, fumbles yet again. It was the same thing we saw all 2021. I thought we were over this. I thought we were over this horrible running defense. I thought we were over these turnovers, these sacks. I think Jared Goff got sacked 3 or 4 times. He hadn't been sacked in 3 games before.
It was weird. The whole, not just like defense, the whole team just did not look there. And, you got to hope if you get punched in the mouth fast like that, just like, I don't know, but it just seemed the Lions panicked immediately. And next thing you know, every pass play, the Panthers had the entire playbook open for every single play. If it was, 2nd and short, 4th and long, whatever, they had a play and it was going to work. So, Julius, what stood out to you the most about this game?
Well, I disagree with you, Nick, when you say that the Panthers will beat the Lions 9 out of 10 times. They're just so – I think the Lions are a better team than Carolina. I really do. I think this loss was a mixture of 2 main components. Now, and don't get me wrong, our defense is still our weakness. That's where we need to upgrade this offseason the most to take us over the hump and win a division next year is on defense. But offensively, we scored 20 points just like we did against the Jets. Now, I think we should have saw this coming, that they would lose either to the Jets on the road or to the Panthers on the road. And I think with the cold weather, I hate to say it, but it's bummy to play football like that. It's demoralizing almost, and you're on the road. Combined with the spotlight, the pressure. They were getting, they're in the top 10 in all these power rankings. We were lit. We were talking about winning a playoff game, all this stuff. We're about to clinch. We're about to be in a playoff position. I think it was just, it all compounded on them, honestly, and they were off their game. Alex Anzalone missed tackles. He has 9 this season. I want one of you guys to put up the tweet on the website. That is egregious. That is egregious, and the upgrade is probably needed. I like Anzalone a lot, but he can't be our number 1 linebacker moving forward in this regime. We probably looked at free agency. Shoot, I ain't even gonna lie. Roquan Smith, man. But it's just I just think it was an anomaly. I really do, and I believe, and the Lions are a better team than Carolina, and I believe that they're more talented than them. I think Carolina caught them off guard with more energy, a better game plan, and they wanted it more, just like Dan Campbell said. They wanted it more than we did, and you can see it. And I'm worried about the run defense because that brings back memories, of the first 7 games when we had the worst defense in NFL history. So I am worried about the defense, but honestly, I feel like they can bounce back at home. This team, the way I've seen them play the last 8 weeks, Dan Campbell as the coach, they can bounce back against the Bears. I expect a competitive game at the least. This game against Carolina was an anomaly.
This loss really did bring into two things. One, it's just really hard to win the NFL. It really, really is. Yeah. Two, our road game and our cold weather game is, in my opinion, pretty putrid right now, and that does not bode well for playoffs. But number three is it really shines a light on how exciting the previous 7 weeks were, even including the loss to Buffalo. Like, just to see, like, it almost got to a point where we were expecting wins. We are expecting to beat Carolina. We are expecting to make the playoffs, which is great. And this Carolina loss kind of humbled you, but but it really just makes you like, oof, remember the good old days of those 7 weeks where we just, man, we were on a tear. We couldn't lose to the Vikings, to the Jets. So it just makes you it humbles you. It really does. This loss humbles you. And I hope the team gets so competitive for Chicago. We have to beat them. But real quick, the one target to Jameson Williams, guys, Jared Goff has to do better than this. That was the worst throw. He was 10 yards. It was a 15-yard curl route, maybe a 12-yard curl route, and he threw it like 6 yards. Goff, you got one target to Jameson Williams. You hit him every single time. Every time.
And it was interesting because the play they were hoping for, I knew exactly what they wanted. They wanted the cornerback to try to jump the route and J-Mo just catch, turn, and zip up the field. And had it been, bing, 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 that's what was going to happen. But, yeah, duck of a throw, not good. Real quick, let's talk Jameson. Are we all in agreement that he's not going to get unleashed if we don't make the playoffs?
Yeah, even if we make the playoffs, I don't think we see more than one target per game this year, including playoffs if we make it.
I disagree. I think that the pressure is starting to build for Jameson Williams, for Ben Johnson to incorporate this dynamic playmaker for more than 15 snaps a game and more than 1 or 2 targets a game into our offense immediately, so it can help us win. Because that's what we drafted him for. That's what we traded up for. I can understand the first few games moving slow. He's learning to play. He's learning. He's getting in the groove. Golf is getting in the groove with him. But it's going to have to pop eventually. And I think the chances are high it pops before the playoffs or before next season.
It would have to be this game then. You aren't going to send him to Lambeau and be like, here's 25, here's 10 targets or anything like that. So it's got to be against Chicago this week. I don't know, man. I just don't think
respect for Josh.
The wide receiver 5 right now, maybe even wide receiver 6 for the Detroit Lions. Like, that's not up for debate. Like, he is. I don't know about talent wise. Obviously, I would say he's better than that. I would hope, but right now, Khalif Raymond is higher on the depth chart and acquires more targets, more play scheme than Jameson Williams. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but I don't think it's going to change. That is the plan we have drawn up for the season as what it's going to be.
I'm okay with Khalif Raymond. I'm okay with Khalif Raymond.
Yeah.
His part in it. But I feel like Josh Reynolds is the guy, and maybe to a certain small chunk, DJ Shark, but not much because I like Shark's role. Mm-hmm. But Josh Reynolds is the guy who's going to have to let go of some of those snaps. You know what I'm saying? And have the speedster out there.
I'll be the one to break the bad news to Josh Reynolds. I
love Josh Reynolds.
Me too. He helped the shit out of us. But
he is who he is. He's a wide receiver 3/4. That's who he is. And Jameson Williams is a potential star.
I'm trying to get the hashtag free JMO going because
it's coming. I like it.
And one, it's just like free Jameson. That's what makes me think of like not just free Jameson out of jail, kind of which is what we're going for. Free JMO sounds delicious. I'll take a couple shots. You know what I mean?
I think the other thing is kind of going on with the Lions and Jameson getting one target, maybe 2, maybe 1. A game. It's like when he trots out on the field. The whole defense, they spot number 9 and go, oh, I wonder who's getting the target now. Make sure Jameson doesn't get over top because it's like he comes in.
How many snaps did he get, Adam?
I would be curious. I don't really know his snap to target ratio.
I think he got 13 against Carolina. 13.
Okay, that's not bad. Hopefully that's what we're doing.
Terrible. One target for 13 snaps.
Don't stand on the field.
Terrible.
It's terrible, bro. It's terrible. He is not just a decoy. He is a very good football player. We drafted him 14th, 13th overall, whatever it was. Like, get him the ball. It is very, dude. Okay, so it's like we're saving Jamison Williams for the next 4 years, right? That's what we're trying to do. We don't know where we're going to be in next year, 3 years, 2 years. We could be 1-15, 1-16. We are in the playoff hunt right the fuck now. Get Jamison Williams the ball right the fuck now. There is a reason that we should, like, we drafted this guy, and yet we're just like, well, no, because, you know, everything looks like next year we should be a good team. Dude, schedules are just so NFL parody. You just never know what's going to happen. You have a legitimate shot at making the playoffs right now. Get Jamison Williams the ball more than Josh freaking Reynolds.
Agreed. And listen, we treated Amon-Ra St. Brown as a 4th round pick the way we should be treating Jamison Williams right now. We were loading up on targets for St. Brown early on, even though him and Goff really wasn't connecting until about midway through the season. They were giving him shots. He was playing like 80% of snaps by week 3. Come on, come on.
And then, not to mention, if we actually look at Jared Goff and how he's progressed from year 1 to year 2. Year 1, he came in, didn't really have Amon-Ra until the end of the year, didn't have Josh Reynolds until week 8 or wherever we claimed him. Pretty much just had a broken wide receiver group. Swift that was banged up. No Hutchinson, no Houston, Rodrigo, Kirby, electric defensive players. So we add this, and now we see, okay, this guy's competent. He can make plays. He can win us games. He could potentially get us to the playoffs. And now it's got me thinking, well, we got Jameson Williams, who's first-round pick coming in next year, and 2 more coming in next year. So, Goff, man, with these more weapons coming in, I think we just got to keep loading up and just see what happens when Jameson comes in. And I feel like Goff could really take a next step. And we've seen him, Nick. You make a great case that he's struggled on the road in cold weather. So it's like, put another playmaker on there. If you give Jameson, 10, 15 targets on that Panthers game, I guarantee you he does something, or at least gives the Lions, another opportunity to score more points. Not saying that would win us the game, but ultimately it can help. And we're at the point where, we need all the help we can get. We see what's going on in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers. They are becoming a new beast. They are back, which sucks to say. We thought they were left for dead. We thought Aaron Rodgers was going to pack his bags, but
let's go Vikings.
There was one a couple weeks ago. I don't know who they beat, but it was like that was the spark. And then he beat someone the next week. Okay. Dallas was kind of it, and then they lost after that, and then they went on this little streak. But it was the little smirk he made after the primetime game. I think it was like 2 weeks ago when they asked, "Oh, there's only a couple 500 teams ahead of you," and he said, "Oh, not everyone's 500," alluding to the Lions, who were 6 and 7 at the time. And it was just, I hate the guy so much.
Yeah, we all hate him. He's the best.
What I want so bad, like my perfect dream as a football fan, Julius, yours too, I'm sure, is Ohio State beats Georgia, Michigan beats TCU, and Michigan just smacks the crap out of Ohio State. And then somehow, I don't know how the snares have to get drawn up, but Washington loses a game, Seattle loses a game, Giants lose a game. Comes down to week 18, Packers, Lions in Lambeau Field, and Aaron Rodgers throws not one, not two, not 3, but his first ever 4 interception game. It just is abysmal. Lions just wreak havoc. Hutchinson just laughing, and boy, oh boy, I wake up from my dream.
I do want that. I do want a Week 18 Detroit Lions Green Bay Packers game that means something. I'm not scared about it. I don't want to be scared about it anymore.
Yeah, you're right. But if you put a gun to my head right now, I would tell you I wouldn't mind the Packers losing to Minnesota.
No, me too. Let's go Vikings. I get it.
Just how it's just like the pool. But you're right, Adam. I want Ohio State, please beat Georgia, please, so we can meet y'all in the national title game and beat y'all twice. And please, Aaron Rodgers, I can't imagine that one. See, even the Michigan Ohio State thing, you think that'd be unfathomable, seeing how they done killed us for so long. But Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, man, that end of the game, like if we could knock him off like that and erase that damn smirk off his face, it will make my year, gentlemen.
The refs won't allow it though. That's the reason why I really don't want to see it, because the refs won't allow it.
That's so true.
I would throw hands with the refs if they are involved
Don't
in our heartbreak in Lambeau again. I will find them.
That's what's going to end up happening, and I know it. We're not going to be flexed. It's going to be the Titans Jags that gets flexed. Winner takes the division, because that takes more precedent than the 7 seed of a playoff game. So luckily, I don't think we're going to have a flex game. It'll continue to be a 1 o'clock game.
Okay, I don't want to be in prime time. I want that 1
Right.
o'clock.
No, exactly. We want that 1 o'clock game. Keep it routine. Right. Except for it would be amazing to be the last game of the year. And the last time this happened, obviously we lost with Stafford, and we still got in the playoffs, and we lost again to Dallas, but it would be so fun. It would just be so God, I don't want to be scared anymore of Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers in week 18 and losing on the road and all of this stuff. I want to have that game because I want to go win that game and almost stuff the monster in the closet and just be like, I'm done with you. I am old enough. Yeah, like get the fuck out. I'm not that young anymore. I don't believe in monsters. We're going to go in here and dominate, and Dan Campbell's going to do it. The thing is it's on the road. It shouldn't be too cold. It looks like it'll be like around 40, 50, not this weekend, but next weekend. So that's not too bad. But on the road scares me. I don't know. It's all just scary, but I still want it. I do want Minnesota to beat Green Bay, but I am preparing myself to have to beat Green Bay for the playoffs, and I'm okay with it. Because we'll win.
Chicago first.
Let's beat Chicago first, which honestly is no easy task. I'm honestly, I wouldn't take -6. -6 for the Lions at home.
5.5.
Is it 5.5 now? I thought it was 6. Either way,
I'm open at 6.
Oh, is that right? Okay. So most people thought the same thing. Like Detroit probably is not going to win this game by 6. Chicago's still playing hard. They really are. And they held us close on the road. I get that. But it's a division game. I don't know. I think they're going to play better than Minnesota.
Real quick before we get into the Chicago game, let's do a little more talk on these other two teams, because is there a scenario where like the Lions and the Packers? No.
The Giants would have to lose both, and the Commanders would have to lose both, and the Seahawks would have to lose both. Doesn't really seem that powerful. To be honest, the Commanders might win both, and the Seahawks might win both, and we might not even have an opportunity.
So next game's up this week. Giants are taking on the Colts. They can
they're favored.
Just 1 win. The Commanders have the Browns this week.
And they're favored.
It doesn't even tell you if they're playing home or away. It just says versus. So
the Commanders are home and they're favored.
Okay, that's interesting.
Seahawks are favored against, I think, the
Jets.
Maybe they're not favored, but they're playing the Jets. So that's a 50-50.
I think when Mike White news came out, the Jets.
Here, I got it right here.
+1.
Is Mike White starting?
So Jets are -1.5, which is huge news. No Zach Wilson or Clive Stryvler or whatever.
We need to be rooting for the Browns, though. We need the Browns to beat the Commanders big time. That's our big thing. And then the Seahawks losing.
Commanders, 1.5 favorite over the Browns. So not tight spreads all around. Honestly, the Giants only a 5.5 favorite against the Colts. I could see them fluking out, but I will say their last game of the season is against the Eagles, who very much likely could be in a position of just resting everyone. So I kind of pencil the Giants in. I think they're most likely in. And according to FanDuel, they are most likely in because they couldn't even find their odds to make the playoffs. They have odds for the Commanders, Packers, Seahawks, Lions.
We got the worst odds of them all now, too. The Packers jumped us in the odds because they're at home against us.
Yeah, so we were, I believe, like in the 170s before that Panthers game, and we dropped down to +340. Packers are +186. Seattle is +290, and Commanders are the best at +154. So, honestly,
but the Commanders just sold their season, and we're like, let's start Carson Wentz. And
I know.
They're pretty much out of it. Now we're just looking at the Seahawks, the Lions, and the Packers. It's all going to come down to Lions, Packers, and then Seahawks, Rams. That's what it's going to come down to. I
think so. Which is so painful. I don't know. It's at least, if we're looking at this, and it's an exciting season. because, Lions fans were pretty much left for dead when I'm pretty sure at one point we did hold the number 1 overall pick. I think we have some sort of a tiebreaker over the Texans at the time, or maybe we were just, I don't know, the Texans just won their second game, but nonetheless, the Lions, we've won 6 out of our last 8, which if you start the season like this, I am as happy as could be. So all in all, we're doing pretty good. If we don't make the playoffs, which it's kind of seeming like it's going to be an 8-9 season, and
we're winning. We're going 9-8. You're crazy. You don't think we can beat the Packers, man? You got no.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They scare me. I'm still in that phase of like
Alan Lazard. Didn't they just lose someone else too? They got 9 points against us when we played them. Like, I don't know. I'm not.
I hope so, man. I hope so. But I feel like the more momentum they have, the better they are. And at the time we played them, they were on like a 4 or 5 game losing streak. So it was opposite sides. But I will say we beat them once this year. And, it wasn't a game where we got spoon-fed the win. We kind of took it to him. We made Rodgers pay twice in the red zone. He did not look like himself. That last drive, he just didn't look like himself. All in all, that Rodgers is still there. We just got to make him come out and not allow the little cocky SOB we hate to come out. So, with further ado, let's jump into this Bears preview. No rhyme intended.
Man, I'm going back in our Twitter and I see the Jameson Williams swag walking in with hot Cheetos, and that motherfucker got 1 target. Who looks at that swag and says, "I'm gonna throw to him 1 time"? God damn.
How Ben Johnson didn't get word of that's him boarding the jet or whatever. Man, this dude, he get him the ball. Guys, you could just tell when someone's a playmaker, and that just screamed play. I'm a playmaker. So yes, Nick, I agree. JMO, we are totally good. We're gonna see it though. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a new time in Detroit where I think it's gonna go from electrifying playmakers from Barry to Calvin to I don't want to make any comparisons, but Jameson Williams. And I thought it was going to be Swift, but Swift's just made of glass. So be it. Hopefully Jameson can knock on wood, just never miss a game the rest of his career. But all in all, we're getting ready to see something special. Hopefully in the playoffs, hopefully week 18 in Lambeau. That would be so sick if we just unleash the hell out of him in Lambeau and just go ahead, Nick.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I didn't realize where you were going with that. But yes, that would be absolutely amazing. Can we do that, please? Speaking of Swift, I was going to say, what's happened to our run game over the last 3 days? Or 3 games? Wasn't Jamal Williams on record to break or on pace to break Barry Sanders' record?
Yeah. He just kind of
he hasn't had a touchdown in like 4 weeks or something.
Yeah,
what's going
on?
A
while. And then not to mention, oh my goodness, do you know who led the team in rushing last week?
I don't even want to say. I do know, but I don't want to say it.
Jared Goff. Man,
with 15 yards.
15 yards.
15.
I would love to look back and see how many 15-yard carries the Panthers had, because it was at least 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe. Honestly, it seemed anytime.
Only team in the NFL this year to rush for 3 30-plus yard rushes in 1 game.
Gosh. And the funniest thing was anyone that's a fantasy football player, and it's hilarious because week 8, when the Christian McCaffrey trade happened and the Lions were still, run defense was still kind of bad, it was, Deonta Foreman now has a good game against Detroit. Well, fast forward a little bit, Lions shut down Saquon, shut down ETN, shut down Zonovan Knight, shut down everyone, and we're looking like a powerhouse run defense, and all these fantasy players are like, "Oh no, this is a bad matchup. Can't start
Deonta Foreman and Cam Akers in 1 league. 60 points on my goddamn bench. Luckily, I won, and they're both in my starting lineup this week. Chasing.
Yeah, and so it's it's little things like that. They're like, at least you could have been good from a fantasy team, but all in all, that was bad, Nick. So I'm going to ask you real quick, was that the worst loss of the year? We did take a little poll on it. I don't remember what the exact results were, but I do believe the majority did say that this was the worst game of the year, or the Patriots won. So would you agree that one of those two, this game or the Patriots, was the worst loss of the year for the Lions?
Definitely one of the two, and I would say Patriots over the Panthers. Panthers game, I mean, we didn't look great. We were down a lot. We kind of tried to make a little bit of a comeback. Defense looked bad. But you know when our defense looked really bad also? Against Patriots. But you know what happened against Patriots? We didn't even score a single point, and it was the most embarrassing thing I ever saw. That was when I gave up. That was when I said tank time. I believe that was right after the Cowboys loss, or did we lose the Cowboys? I think that was after the Cowboys lost.
After the Cowboys, it was right after the Cowboys lost.
So it's just two demoralizing losses. Yeah. We were 1-6 at the point, or 1-5. I think we went and lost to Miami after that. I don't remember how it all went.
Yeah. We headed in. We took on Miami, and we actually had a great chance of beating them, and I'm pretty sure we kind of just choked it away at the very end. But Julius, was this the worst loss of the season?
Well, we couldn't cover Waddle and Hill in that Miami game. That was our downfall, our defense. Just like in this game against Carolina, how we couldn't stop the run. And I feel like we covered decently well, except Jeff Okudah is bad at giving up these long bombs. That's I don't know, he gets lost in the traffic. But they made some tough catches over Jerry Jacobs and a couple guys.
DJ Moore had one of the best catches I ever saw.
My God. I literally said they
wanted it more, bro. They wanted it more, and you can see
wanted
it.
It more.
Weird.
But
they're in the playoff hunts. We're in the playoff hunt, and they wanted it more. And
the game to me
damn it! I blame the Bucs and Tom Brady for not just running away with this division.
You could have just had the Panthers start in freaking PJ Walker.
The Panthers.
If they would have started PJ Walker, we would have probably won.
I don't know. Unless they would have started you, me, and Dupree at running back, I don't think we would have won that game.
But to me, the Patriot game was worse, though. It was worse because, like I said, we should have kind of expected one of these road games to hit as good as we were playing, the pressure that was on us. In the Patriot game, we were losing all these close games in the beginning of the season. How does this team fall into this hole? And then, boom, we just get wrangled by an average Patriot team. Don't score no points. That was worse. That's the worst loss of the season.
And especially, looking at this Patriots team now with seeing that fluky Raiders play they had. And, granted, they kind of came back and almost beat the Bengals, but the entire game, they were kind of getting smacked. So, ultimately, if we go back in time, man, this Patriots game, if we play them right now, I definitely think we could beat them. Absolutely. Maybe not in Gillette Stadium, Bill Belichick, but, on a neutral or home field, I think we're much, much, much better than that Patriots team. I think that goes for some of the other teams we played, especially this Panthers game where it's just not the perfect scenario for the Lions, and we just, get taken advantage of, so to speak. So, let's dive into this Bears game. And not a whole lot of playoff talk, but we'll take one last playoff question, actually. Julius, I'm going to hit it with you. Yes or no, gun to your head, do we make the playoffs?
Yes.
You have your okay.
Gun to my head, I think yes, because
you got your kids' college fund on it. Same with you, Nick.
I believe so. I just believe that we beat the Bears, and that is the game. Once we beat the Bears, I feel like, okay, the loss to Carolina, if we get blown out by the Bears at home, we're talking a whole nother conversation next week, gentlemen. But I don't think that will happen. I really don't. I think that game was an anomaly last week. So I think they're going to beat the Bears. And I think we're going to make the playoffs. Yes, gun to my head. Shoot me if I'm wrong.
All right, Nick. Little JJ, her entire college fund has been placed on the Detroit Lions. Yes to make the playoffs. No, not to make the playoffs. You got to choose.
It's such a hard question because I honestly believe that it comes down to Green Bay versus Detroit. Winner gets in. And I honestly believe that the refs are going to do a lot in their power to help Aaron Rodgers. I truly believe that, and it will not be a blowout by any means in this game by either team. If I had to put my house down, and if I lost, you know what I mean, I'm homeless, I would probably say no. But damn it, I'm not going to root that way.
And the fact that you came that, so many times we're hell no, Lions aren't making the playoffs. What are you talking? Come on. I'm not busting out the Kool-Aid. Now it's a legit, we're talking, boys. It's a tough.
We're in it.
I don't blame you, though, Nick. And honestly, let me take that back. We're not going. If the Lions falter to the Bears again, the conversation won't be that different, okay? Because what they've accomplished these last 8 weeks, I'm not going to forget going into next season. So
Yeah, I
I
also
just don't think
stated,
it'll happen. I don't think the Bears are they just got blown out by the Bills.
I stated at the beginning of this year that I expected 10-7 and I expected a playoff appearance. And anything short of that, Jared Goff could not be our quarterback anymore. And Dan Campbell needs to be kind of on a hot seat. And I know everyone will be like, what the hell? He just won. We're scared. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So he's not on the hot seat anymore. Yes, he is. Don't say that. Like next year, he has to win a playoff game or Dan Campbell's got to go. We're not going to sit here and sit in this cycle of, but they show really good potential at the end of a season. We have done that so many times in my life. We went one time, we were like 1-8 and won like 7 in a row and almost made the playoffs until Aaron Rodgers knocked us out or whatever. This happens continuously with whatever coach it is, whether it be Schwartz or Caldwell or anyone else. This happens all the time, and it is happening right now, is that it will suck you in. It will suck you in at the very end of the season and will make you believe that you have a chance. And when there is no more chance, it will make you believe that momentum will carry over to next year. And what do I say at least 10 times a year on this podcast? Momentum does not carry over from one year to the next. It doesn't. You have to improve yourself. Don't expect momentum. We won 7 of our last 9 games last year. We're definitely making the playoffs next year. No, that is not how it works. I expected excellence out of the Lions, and they've given it to me in the last half of the season, which is great, great. But that does not do anything. Jared Goff has to be gone if we don't make the playoffs this year. Has to be gone. I don't care about anything. Dan Campbell has to be on the hot seat next year. No, anything under 9-10 wins next year, anything then and less than improvement, he's gone. Dan Campbell has done too many things to lose us too many games. We wouldn't be sitting here saying, man, I hope the Commanders lose if we would have beat the fucking Vikings. If we would have stopped the fucking Seahawks one time, one single drive.
If we make the playoffs, Nick, is that enough for momentum to carry over?
Yeah. That is something that is different. Yes, making the playoffs is a way to carry momentum over. I guess I thank you for making.
No, because you said 10 wins, and I was thinking like, okay, what if we win 9 and go to the playoffs and don't get
that is right there. Yes, I mean I don't care about momentum at the end of a season of a losing season carrying over to the next season. That doesn't mean anything. Yes, you make the playoffs, that's huge. That momentum will carry over.
Team,
it's crazy. So I don't know. I said this at the beginning of the year, and I'm not shying away from that. We can go find that footage and bring it right back up, and I'll say the same thing. Dan Campbell will be on the hot seat next year unless we make the playoffs this year. And Jared Goff can't be our quarterback next year. We will have to trade up. If we don't want to get Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, we'll have to trade up because Goff can't be our quarterback next year. He has proven time and time again that he is not capable of winning the clutch games. And he relies too heavily on the rest of his team. We need a quarterback that can take control, similar to what Stafford did.
Well, you know what's going to happen, Nick, don't you? Next year, Detroit Lions, all we got to do, just win the 1 seed, play every home playoff game until the Super Bowl, where it's likely going to be played in the Dome. I'm not exactly sure where, but it's usually played in the Dome. And
okay, you're right.
Easy as pie.
If we can just do that, Goff can stay our quarterback. You're right.
No, but honestly, though, I think this has been the weakest the NFC has been in like quite some time because there has been, Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Tom Brady came back to wreak havoc. There was, the Cowboys making rumblings, the Rams, Seahawks with the Legion of Boom for a minute. And now it's kind of like, are the Eagles really, a powerhouse? Because, granted, they didn't have Jalen Hurts, but still their defense and everything else did not look the whole best. So I'm pretty confident that every team in the NFC, as opposed to like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, those are the 3 dogs in the AFC. And the NFC, there's no just like clear cut, I am terrified to play this team right now. And that even goes with, the Packers. I mean, we were talking about it's going to be tough playing Lambeau, but I think we would all rather take on Aaron Rodgers in Lambeau than taking on Pat Mahomes in Arrowhead or taking on, Josh Allen in Buffalo. So all in all, this NFC, yeah, Nick, I agree. It's the time to don't wait around. If Dan Campbell, if next year isn't an improvement, just cut it like we did with Jim Caldwell. And it's going to be tough, but it's going to be like, this is what we got. It's not going to be much more. So maybe he wins a playoff game in 2 to 3 years, but then all our, young studs are old asking for contracts. So,
and here's something I want to bring up because I see it in the comments right now. And this is something that people tweet all the freaking time. We don't need a quarterback. We got a top 10 offense and a bottom 10 defense. Defense. Man, Brad Holmes can find defense from the lint in his belly button. All right. It is hard to find a quarterback. It is really hard to find a quarterback. And even if you draft the number 1 overall quarterback, sometimes you get stuck with Jared Goff or Jameis Winston, whatever the fuck his name is. Don't draft a quarterback. We're okay with Jared Goff, says every loser in the Detroit Lions fan base. Go get yourself a fucking Pat Mahomes and a guy who can win the fucking game, even with a bottom 10 defense, similar to what the Chiefs had last year, if people forget. Brad Holmes can find a Malcolm Rodriguez, a Kirby Joseph. He can find these guys and build a defense with his players. Right now, this defense is so bad, and it's been really good for the last 7 weeks, obviously, but it's bad because Matt Patricia depleted everything, and Bob Quinn depleted everything about this defense. It is not going to be a 1 year, 2 year rebuild for this defense. But you don't need to spend every top pick you have on defense if you can get a quarterback like Bryce Young that can win you games regardless of your defense. Okay? Malcolm isn't a starter on any other team. Okay, this guy doesn't know how to talk football, so I don't even really care about him. But what I'm going to say to anyone who is like sitting here trying to advocate that you don't need a quarterback because our offense is good right now, grow the fuck up. Get a better quarterback, make your offense better, and make your defense better at the same time without having to draft an Aiden Hutchinson. Go draft someone in the 2nd and 3rd round, a Josh Pascal, that can make an improvement. Aiden Hutchinson, great, sure. James Houston, 6th rounder. I think we'll be okay. You don't need to get – if Jalen Carter's not there and Will Anderson's not there, reaching for Miles Murphy is absurd. Not reaching, but just drafting Miles Murphy instead of trying to go get your franchise quarterback is absurd and idiotic to me for people to think like that. And I'm sorry, but that's just how I feel because Jared Goff has done nothing to show me that he is going to win a Super Bowl in his entire career, and that's the quarterback I want. I don't want a transition quarterback. I don't want a quarterback to win us a playoff game. I want a quarterback to win a Super Bowl because I'm done sitting here looking like I'm the 6-10 Detroit Lions fan. Like, I just hope we win a playoff game. Like, it's embarrassing, dude. And these fans ought to be embarrassed for thinking that defense is going to go win us a championship. It's 1982. All we need is a defense. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Unless the Lions, Nick, that was a rant. That was a rant for the ages.
Sorry, Haters House. I really don't know you. Probably friends with you, but
hey,
don't piss me off.
I kind of seem to disagree with that Goff. You can't win with Goff, but if Goff goes to the playoffs this year and even wins a playoff game,
I might be eating crow at that point. I might be eating crow, and I'm okay to eat that crow. You know what I mean? I'll scoop it right up. But do you guys really think that's going to happen? We all just like Julius did say that we haven't got to you yet. If you think we're going to make the playoffs, which you still have to answer, but
he took the Rams to the Super Bowl. But it would be nice having a franchise top 5 NFL quarterback on the Detroit Lions.
Wouldn't it be really nice?
I will say, when we look at all these, bad quarterbacks that have made the Super Bowl, there's always one huge outlier. It's an elite head coach. They had, Sean McVay. They had, I'm not going to say, Doug Peterson be with Nick Foles and Jim Harbaugh, Colin Kaepernick, but these are guys that, like, in that season, they were just, like, outsmarting everyone. And not saying Dan Campbell can't be that guy, but as of right now, Dan Campbell.
Let me start yelling at my brother. Put that shit away. Hold on. Go ahead, Adam.
Dan Campbell, he doesn't seem like that elite head coach level that, like,
not yet.
Games.
You're right. Not yet.
Until I see it, Sean McVay, John Harbaugh, something, Andy Reid, something like that, where I'm so confident in our head coach that, I want an elite quarterback, because there's not a doubt in my mind that, an elite quarterback can't at least get us playoff wins, can't at least get us a shot there. When you have a bad quarterback, I think it's just a lot harder to work with. Not saying it's impossible, but you need other better pieces, and I just don't think it's there yet.
And Goff, Goff isn't a bad quarterback, but he's very, very average. He has very high. He has high highs and low lows, and that's
I bet
not
you,
what I want.
Bill Belichick, Andy Reid, even John Harbaugh. If you give them Jared Goff for 5 seasons and rebuild around him, I wouldn't be surprised if they got him to the Super Bowl, got a ring with him.
We saw this with Andy Reid, and his name was Alex Smith. We saw this with Matt Castle and Bill Belichick. Like that.
We're seeing this with the Vikings right now with Kirk Cousins.
Dude, I can't believe they won.
They're trying to win a Super Bowl
game
with Jared Goff right now.
They are trying to win.
What the Vikings are doing.
What quarterback would you prefer, Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff on the Detroit Lions right now? Both
right now,
same age.
I'll go with Goff just because.
Really? I would.
I just feel like I don't know. Goff went to the Super Bowl, and Cousins hasn't. So I give Goff the edge. I put weight on Goff taking the Rams to the Super Bowl, even though they lost. They didn't do much offensively. I put weight on that. I don't know why people don't respect that. Not
because it was
take their team to the Super Bowl.
It was on the back of Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley did everything. Goff dumped it off.
And not to mention,
Goff was doing what he's doing now with the Lions during their good stretch. He was one of the league leaders in QBR that year. I mean, he was accurate. He was hitting his receivers in play action, which he's doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good play action game manager quarterback. He's good enough to win with, I think.
I don't know. Who would you rather have at quarterback?
You got to surround him with a good running game and a good defense and receivers to throw to.
See, I don't want a quarterback that I don't got to surround with nobody. I want a quarterback that can take you, me, and Dupree and go win a Super Bowl.
And that's where.
And I will say,
with drafting somebody else,
as us Lions fans know how refs can screw games. Refs kind of got Jared Goff in that Super Bowl with that completely missed pass interference on the Saints. So. All in all, he did make it there, but
dude, Goff didn't even deserve to be in that damn Super Bowl. The refs took him there, just like the refs will take Rodgers in the damn playoffs. Fuckers, fucking.
All right, let's talk a little bit.
Wait, Adam.
Whoa.
What is gun to your head? Your college fund. I don't know. I'm just joking. I'm just teasing. That's a young
my
joke.
SpongeBob memory.
Yes.
That jersey.
The Lions make the playoffs. The Lions make the playoffs. All the uncracked sunflower seeds in the world.
You know what's actually funny, real quick? I was at Five Guys today, and I grabbed myself. They do the peanuts.
I love the peanuts.
I grabbed a couple peanuts and
just chew them up.
Right down,
you suck. You sick son of a bitch,
man. Peanuts are probably better than sunflower seeds because
get your stomach checked out.
Get your stomach
points.
Peanuts are
bleeding out of your boo hole.
Yeah. Never good. Adam, are we making
only a couple? Okay, back to the
Oh God, dude, I can't imagine wiping that ass. All right, Adam. Oh man, Adam, are the Lions making the playoffs, bro?
Actually, man, I thought
Kool-Aid.
Before, Kool-Aid is right. Before the Panthers game, I would have said yes, without a doubt, no question. But
it was an anomaly, Nick. It was an anomaly, Adam. It was an anomaly, Nick.
I'm going to say.
But we had dug ourselves such a bad hole that we couldn't allow ourselves to have the anomaly.
That's the key there. The 1-6 start.
Just based off of, what I've seen Dan Campbell do, what I've seen Aaron Rodgers do, I think there's enough variables for Dan Campbell to shoot himself in the foot or Aaron Rodgers to, get the last laugh or the refs to just screw us more than the Lions coming out on top. I will say I'm at like a 51-49, though. I think it's
But really I didn't ask what your percentage was. You said no?
I did say no, Nick.
That's 2 no's and 1 positive. Way to be the positive, Julius. That's why we love you. That's why we need you.
I see the 1-6 start in the beginning of the season as a young team learning how to win, which they learned how to do. And I believe they are still that team that learned. All right. I don't believe they're going to regress to the point that they lose to the Bears.
That's not the question at hand. Realistically, I think we all think that they're going to beat the Bears. The question of asking if we're making the playoffs or not is if we're going to beat Green Bay in Lambeau in Week 18, while the Packers probably, most likely, will beat the Vikings and have a shot at the playoffs too.
What do you think it is? What do you think it is? That I believe that this Bear game is the key game. That I believe that if we beat the Bears, we're going to beat the Packers and go to the playoffs.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think that holds any momentum. It's all about Lambeau. It's all about Week 18.
Well,
we need the Vikings.
You're right. Because of SOL, you're right.
Yeah.
We have to bury it.
We had 5,249 people vote on will the Lions make the playoffs this year, posted one day ago, and 52% said yes, 48% said no. I think this was a lot better a week before, but all in all,
listen, I'm going to give my game prediction right now for the Bears. Lions 31, Bears 14. They're going to blow out the Bears at home because they're pissed off about what happened in Carolina, and they know how to win now. And
they know how to lose now.
Minnesota's going to beat the Packers as well.
I hope you're right. I hope you're so right on everything you just said. I'll
fly
to Texas.
Aaron Rodgers just has to walk into Lambeau knowing, like, if I win or lose, it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. That would be kind of cool. Like, if somehow, or vice versa, somehow the Lions lose the Bears and the Packers still have hope. I would love to go in there and just like, if we're going down, you're coming down with us. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be good. But we still got the Bears to play. Julius, it's Bears week. And as you hello? Oh, what's that? The Bears.
They're very
the Bears are trash. Yes,
much.
The Bears are trash per my source that just called as of now. Bears are trash, always will be trash, and we're going to stop them, baby. We got a 5.5-point favorite. We went into their home turf, took it to them, let Justin Fields know it's not going to be sunflowers and candy and gumdrops. It's going to be pick sixes and Aiden Hutchinson sacks, baby. So
and peanuts from Five Guys.
Yes, sir. Sunflower seeds, peanuts from Five Guys. All in all, I think the Lions, it's going to be a classic. Ford Field stomping. I'm going to go 34-21 because I do believe this Justin Fields-led Bears team will create some points. Justin Fields, don't be alarmed, fans. We are likely going to allow 100 yards rushing, not just to the running game, but to Justin Fields himself. Don't get shocked when he rips off a couple nice runs and it's looking like, is he going to, take down the Lions? Wait till the fourth quarter because this man has not been able to prove he's clutch, can, win a game. And ultimately, the Bears, they're not really looking to win right now. The 2-6 spot is really, really tight. Any wins can make them fall out. So granted, teams aren't tanking always in the NFL, but it's not like, a head coach is going to go balls to the wall trying to, win this game. I will say it might be a little different because it's Bears and Lions and it's individual, but we are home. We're home. Ford Field. I think we're going to have another sold-out crowd. Stadium's going to be popping. And, 34-21. I think Hutchinson's going to get at least one more sack to round up these last 2 weeks. So, Nick, what say you?
This game's going to be a lot closer than y'all are thinking. We have the most missed tackles in the NFL. Justin Fields is one of the best rushers in the NFL. I'm going to go with a 28-26 Lions victory.
I like it. 28-26. Interesting. No, you always give me the crazy little numbers there, Nick. Love it. 42.
Go for scoregami every time.
It's going to hit one of these days. It will. Julius, we both were on consensus that this game will hit the over. Over-under is relatively high, I believe at 52.5. So, Julius, we hitting the over, and do we cover?
Yeah, I got Lions 31-14. I think it's possible Justin Fields runs for over 100 yards, and we still win by that score because I don't expect Justin Fields to throw for 300. or throw for two or three touchdowns. And I believe that's what the Bears need to do to beat us, because I believe our offense is going to push them, to that 30-point mark. So it'll be a shootout. I don't think that the Bears can beat us without scoring more than 30. So 31-14, they cover, and yeah, we're good. We're good.
I like it. As always, you guys can check us out on Twitter at Honolulu Blues. You can check us out individually at Everyday FFB for myself. The fifth top for Julius, and Nick Faber NFL for my boy Nick. Give us a like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, or whatever. But all in all, baby, go Lions.
Go Haters House. I kind of did him wrong this show. That's my fault. I love you, dude. I don't even know who you are.